Harold Bloom, a renowned literature critic, wrote the most notorious anti-Potter ad titled, "Can 35 million book buyers be wrong?" Yes, for the Wall Street Journal in July of 2000. For some perspective, Harry Potter and the Goblet of Fire had only just hit the shelves 3 days earlier, and the first Harry Potter film was set to premiere in about a year. Before Bloom even begins his critique of the book Harry Potter and the Sorcerer's Stone, he recognizes that he has no hope in changing the opinion of those already affected by the Harry Potter craze. He is only comforted by the fact that the series will see an eventual drop in popularity. For Bloom, the interest in the series is a complete mystery. He compares it to Tom Brown's School Days, a novel written in 1857 by Thomas Hughes, and re-seen in a magical mirror of Tolkien. After a summary that further separates him from Potterheads, he begins his critique of the book. He doubts that Rowling's characters will ever become classics of children's literature, but recognizes her input on current popular culture, comparing her to a rock star or movie idol. Still, he cannot look past her heavy use of cliches, and cites that on a single randomly selected page he counts 7 cliches. He suggests that if you must read Harry Potter because you can't be persuaded to read anything better, you should do so quickly in an effort to sooner reach the end. 11 years after Bloom's article, writer and sci-fi reviewer Ryan Britt writes a counterpost. He first addresses the issue of Rowling's prose. He points out that while Bloom found it terrible, Stephen King has greatly praised Rowling for her talent in writing. Britt is somewhere in between the two. While he agrees that the writing is heavily cliched and that he often grew bored of the filler sentences, it neither prevented him from getting through the Potter books nor enjoying them. He claims that the first 3 novels have a classic whodunit structure, each of them revealing a culprit in the end. After that, Britt claims that the structure of the novels becomes muddled. He asserts that the continuing whodunit structure of the first 3 would have bored the reader. It is the end of book 4 that Rowling begins to kill off her characters, starting with Cedric Diggory. Britt praises Rowling for her handling of the deaths of Diggory, Dumbledore, and the others that occur before books. Britt claims that people read Harry Potter not just for the magical world created by Rowling, but also for the character or two with the reader becomes particularly attached. Britt's favorite character is Luna Lovegood. We are supposed to recognize that Luna and her father are even more absurd than the wizarding world, and Rowling's great success is that we do see her as so. One experience I had while studying abroad in England mirrored sentiments expressed by Harold Bloom in his article. On our way to Stratford-upon-Avon, we stopped to tour Oxford University, home of literature greats such as C.S. Lewis, J.R.R. Tolkien, and of course Lewis Carroll. However, for many, the draw of Oxford was not the immortal halls and sidewalks that once hosted these literary giants, but a singular hall and staircase that once hosted a film crew and a young Daniel Radcliffe, Emma Watson, and Rupert Grint. Though the area was closed off on our initial tour, many of us made it a point to go back when the space would be open to tourists. A few others from the trip and I arrived a little early, yet there were still already a number of people posing in the staircase where young Neville Longbottom first lost his pet toad. We took our pictures and then made our way into Hogwarts Great Hall. Given the number of special effects that make the Great Hall so special, such as the see-through ceiling or floating candles, it was no surprise that the hall itself was a little unimpressive. We snapped a few more photos and then began to hurry out. But before we could fully exit, a member of Christ Church College called out after us and asked if we had noticed a Lewis Carroll stained glass window. She said something to the effect of so many people missing it. As we left the scene, I felt a little sorry for the guy we had left behind. She obviously wanted people to recognize the hall, and probably Christ Church itself, for more than just the film set of the Potter series. Unfortunately, I'm not sure she will be met with much success in her endeavor. Most people don't recognize the name Lewis Carroll, even if they know Alice, having seen one of the many film adaptations in their lifetime. The loud fame of Harry Potter overshadows the quieter fame of Carroll, and it is perhaps for this fact that Bloom finds J.K. Rowling and her work so revolting. Though the line is clearly drawn dividing academics on the subject of Harry Potter, both sides are able to agree on a few points. Firstly, Rowling's prose style is not all that it could be. And secondly, regardless of the flaws, the series is adored by the masses. Bloom argues that Potter is in no danger of becoming a children's classic, but I think that a book that has seen such great success all over the world is no flash in the pan phenomenon. I am unsure of its literary merit, but I think that the world of Rowling is magical, and her characters are so rich. Even if her style and structure fall short of greatness, she makes up with her imagination. For better or for worse, the world loves Harry Potter.